a ring directly, or you can drop a message in our inbox or in our DMs on Instagram. Okay, so that is the information about Speak Initiative. Again, thank you for joining us. And tonight I'm going to do it a little differently. Usually I do a free conversation, but today I want to read an article to you because today's title is Emotional Numbness. Now, if you follow us, you've noticed that we haven't been live since February. Um, we had some technical difficulties, yes, and then I actually had some technical difficulties of my own. And I had to realize through some help, through talking with my therapist and my support system, that numb is where I've been for a little while. And I wasn't able to put that into words until very recently, right? So because I'm still experiencing this phenomenon, this actual condition, I've decided to give you a little bit of information about emotional numbness in the event that you or someone you know may be experiencing this type of condition right now, and a few of the things that we can do to get out of that space and move forward to a better mental space and a better mental place. Okay. So this article, I will drop the link in the comments after this live is done if you want to take a look at the blog yourself. However, it's basically just going over what emotional numbness is, the symptoms, and the possible causes. So I'm going to read this article, just not all of it verbatim, but some of it, so you can get the highlights of emotional numbness. So it starts. Do you ever feel like you're just going through the motions in your life? It's natural for everyone to feel a bit disconnected from the world around them at times. However, if you feel this way more often than not, you might be experiencing what is known as emotional numbness. Emotions can make your life difficult sometimes, but they can also be the most beautiful part of it, right? While getting rid of sadness, anger, or fear may be amazing, that can't be said about when you get rid of happiness or love or changes that may be coming that you're just not, they don't feel right in your system. Emotional numbness is a protective mechanism, which means that a person is unable to experience their emotions, and it can manifest in many ways. Some symptoms of emotional numbness, they may feel different depending on the case, but here are a few of the symptoms. You may feel empty or despondent, like you have no future, or that you will always feel this way and the hopelessness is overwhelming. You may feel like you're unfocused or ungrounded, like that feeling of zoning out that often comes just before going to sleep. Emotional numbness can actually be a symptom of dissociation. And that's a feeling of being disconnected from your thoughts and your body. You may feel like the world is happening around you and you are invisible. Some people have likened it to feeling like a ghost or being an observer outside of themselves instead of present in an interaction, or as though there is an invisible barrier that stops them from engaging with those around them. You may be unable to describe what you're feeling or feel as though you're experiencing no emotions whatsoever. You might also experience short term memory loss. There's a number of other symptoms that can come up from you no longer enjoy your hobbies, you feel exhausted all the time, even if you're getting adequate rest. So, those are some of the common symptoms that come up when a person is emotionally numb. I can resonate with the last two. The main ones are feeling like you're unable to describe what you're feeling, or I may say, I don't feel anything. I have no emotions at all. I'm going through my day to day, doing the things that I need to do, but there's no connection to any of those things. So, in some cases, emotional numbness can be a natural reaction to an unpleasant or intense experience. For example, when people feel helpless, overwhelmed, or experience something traumatic, they may develop emotional numbness because it provides them with a protective defense, helping to avoid additional or future pain. For the same reason, this is why first responders and police officers sometimes develop compassion fatigue. Um, let's go into some of the symptoms, well, some of the conditions that can cause emotional numbness. So we have depression. When you have depressive episodes, sometimes they're present with a lower attunement to your feelings and a dulling of emotions. If a person is experiencing anxiety, people with various anxiety disorders can experience emotional numbness in response to high stress levels or excessive worry. Post traumatic stress disorder, um, the emotional numbness can start as a way of coping with trauma or abuse to protect yourself from terrifying, painful, or confusing experiences. Grief, sometimes sadness, such as the grief of losing a loved one, can cause your brain to emotionally shut down. And medication. This is something I don't talk about often, but sometimes the medication that you're prescribed can actually give you symptoms and make you feel unlike yourself. So, especially with mental health disorders like anxiety and depression, some of those medications can actually dull your emotions. And that's when it requires a conversation with your prescriber. Um, you can push back and say these medications are not for me because they don't make me feel the way I used to feel. So, getting some relief from emotional numbness. Emotional numbness is a complex symptom that requires a multi pronged approach to alleviate and potentially overcome the distress. A look at how you can get some immediate relief, along with some long term approaches, can make a big difference in how you feel over time. So, some immediate relief can be exercise, although motivation can be hard to find when you're feeling numb, moving your body is a great way to start flooding your brain with endorphins. Whether you're working out, going for a quick walk around your block, swimming, running, or doing yoga, you can take the edge off of any stress, anxiety, or depression that is causing your numbness and feel better temporarily. You can get better with your sleep hygiene or your sleep patterns. Get plenty of sleep because it can cause a dramatic turnaround in your emotions remarkably quick. So try to get at least 8 hours of high quality sleep each night. A lot of us say we don't need a full 8 hours. Maybe you can do 5 and still feel good. Maybe you do 6. Just make sure you're getting adequate rest. And of course, this is my favorite, to reach out to your support system. Many people feel experiencing emotional detachment have trouble connecting with others, but do your best to reach out to your loved ones, especially if you trust them. They will understand what may be going on with you and may be able to help you get unstuck from the moment or this place that you're in by just talking about it, right? And then, of course, our final um, treatment that we can actually do is, of course, to seek help from a therapist. I always say, we can find a space and a place that's comfortable and someone who you can trust, and that can make a world of difference. So I read this article, and of course, you can minimize your stress, and that's a major contributor to emotional numbness and learning how to manage your stress. So minimize and manage your stress levels. Those are two things that we can do as well. But getting therapy is really a big one because sometimes you need that person to help navigate what you're experiencing and potentially give you ways to cope with those things or with the way you're feeling, give you exercises to do that will shake you out of the moment or start to wake you up in a way where you're connecting again and not just feeling detached from everything. So I read this article because I basically wanted to give an understanding of what I actually have been experiencing these last few months now. It hasn't been totally debilitating, but it has been challenging. But I say all that to say it does get better. It does get easier. And I know that I have all of the things that I've just mentioned: learning how to reduce your stress, reaching out to my support system, getting therapy, which I have a therapist, um, exercising, getting appropriate sleep. Doing those things consistently will make the difference. So I just wanted to be transparent today, give a piece of what's been going on here at Speak Initiative. And I hope that, again, if you are looking to be a guest on our Empowered Pause or do a longer interview about your experiences with mental health challenges, or if you've had prior experience with suicidal ideations and ways of coping, or if you're a listener who is someone who supports a speaker and you want to share your story or some resources, feel free to reach out to us directly. Thank you for your time. Until next week, take care.